Hey everyone, welcome. So today, we're going to dive into a really special kind of guidebook. It's not for a city or for a new gadget, but for an entire nation of over 1 billion people. We're talking about the Constitution of India. And we're going to explore the incredible promises it makes to you and what it asks for in return.
So let me just start by asking you this. What if a book didn't just tell a story, but it actually gave you superpowers? Handed you this protective shield and also gave you a mission. Well, in a lot of ways, the Constitution of India is exactly that book for every single citizen.
All right, let's get right into the first part of our story, the promises. These are the incredible guarantees that the Constitution makes to every single person. And believe me, these aren't just suggestions, they are the absolute foundation of the nation.
At the very heart of this promise are what we call fundamental rights. Now, these are the basic, absolutely essential rights guaranteed to every citizen. Think of them as the core tools you need to grow as a person and to actually participate in the world's largest democracy.
A great way to think about these rights is as a kind of magic shield. Seriously, this shield protects you from injustice, and it makes sure you have the freedom to live with dignity. It's like your own personal constitutional armor. And get this shield, it comes with a repair service. If anyone, and I mean anyone, even the government, tries to take away your rights, you can go directly to a court to get them restored. That's what this fancy word justiciable means. It just means your rights are legally enforceable. So this isn't just a nice idea. It's a promise with a real legal guarantee.
Okay, so we've got this shield, but what powers does it actually give us? Let's break down the 6 main superpowers the Constitution hands to every single one of its citizens.
That's right. There are 6 major categories of fundamental rights, and each one is like a pillar holding up your freedom and your dignity. You ready to see what they are? Let's go.
First up, the right to equality. It sounds simple, but it's so profound. The law sees everyone as equal, period. Then there's the right to freedom. That's your right to speak your mind, to gather peacefully, and to choose your own path in life. And so important is the right against exploitation, which protects people from things like forced labor and protects our children.
We also have the right to freedom of religion, which means you can follow any faith or no faith at all. Then there are cultural and educational rights, which empower minority communities to preserve their unique heritage. And finally, this one is the key to everything, the right to constitutional remedies. This is literally your power to go straight to the Supreme Court if any of your other rights are in danger.
And there's a huge reason this last right is so critical. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the main architect of the Constitution, called it the heart and soul of the Constitution. And why? Well, because without the power to actually go to court and seek justice, all the other rights would just be words on a page. This right is what makes that shield real.
So you've got these incredible powers, this nearly unbreakable shield. But as a certain friendly neighborhood superhero taught us all, with great power, well, you know the rest, comes great responsibility. And that brings us to the other side of this constitutional coin. Okay, so let's talk about that mission. The Constitution doesn't just give, it also asks. It lays out our shared responsibilities, our part of the deal. And these are known as our fundamental duties. So, fundamental duties, these are basically the moral obligations of every citizen. And what's interesting is they weren't actually in the original Constitution. They were added later in 1976. They really represent a kind of collective promise to contribute positively to our society. Here's a good way to look at it. If fundamental rights are your individual superpowers, then fundamental duties are the team rules. They're the guidelines we all agree to follow to make sure the team, our whole country, works well so everyone can thrive together. So what are some of these team rules? Well, they include stuff like respecting our national symbols, protecting the country's unity, and promoting a spirit of common brotherhood. They also call on us to protect our natural environment, to develop a scientific mindset, and to look after public property. But, and this is a key difference, unlike your rights, you can't be taken to court for not doing these duties. They aren't legally enforceable. Instead, they're meant to serve as a kind of moral compass, guiding our actions as good, responsible citizens.
So we've got rights on one side and duties on the other. How do they actually fit together? Well, that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, finding that perfect balance between the two.
Let's just break it down nice and simple. Rights are your protections. They are a guarantee you receive from the state, and yes, you can go to court to enforce them. Duties, on the other hand, are your responsibilities. They're a moral pledge you make to the nation, and they're there to guide your actions.
I absolutely love this metaphor. Think of rights and duties as the two wings of a bird. Now, for that bird, which is our democracy, to fly high and straight, it needs both wings working together in perfect harmony. You just can't have one without the other.
And this is exactly why that balance is so critical. I mean, think about it. If everyone only demanded their rights without ever thinking about their duties, society could become pretty chaotic. But on the flip side, a system with only duties and no rights, well, that could easily lead to oppression. That balance, it's everything.
So that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We've seen that our fundamental rights are like our personal shield, protecting us as individuals. But maybe our fundamental duties are the collective shield, that shared commitment that actually protects our entire society. It's a powerful idea to think about, isn't it? Thanks so much for joining me today.